Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Crypto Morning Coffee. I hope you guys have your crypto. I hope you guys have your coffee locked and loaded, ready to go, because we have some very interesting news today. We are going to talk about, obviously, the US inflation data coming in. We are going to talk about Silkroad, Bitcoin, and the US government. We are going to talk about the DXY falling as predicted, or as we predicted it here. And most of all, we are going to talk about Veve Payout. But all of that right after the intro. So good morning, everyone. Time for Crypto Morning Coffee. I'm really happy that I can do it today because yesterday was just a world of pain for me. I woke up and I knew that it was the right decision to cancel that one morning stream there. But yeah, today I will be able to make it once again. And already that day before, I was like 5, 6, 7 minutes late because I just couldn't handle the tooth pain. But it's getting a little bit better now, it seems. So I am really happy that I can sit here. So quick housekeeping. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure to perform your own research on everything because I'm not a financial advisor. So please do that research before you ape full degen into Ecomi, Veve, Bitcoin, whatever crypto altcoins you are planning to invest in. Also, if you enjoy this type of content, then please smash a like button right now. Smash the like button right now. Thanks for the like and subscribe to the channel, tick the little bell to always get notified whenever I upload the next video or do the next live stream. And we have some people here already in the chat. We have Energy here, Moin friends, and how is life, PH? Life is inverse correlated to my tooth pain. So the less tooth pain, the better my life is. So I had some pretty cool comments there when I said that yesterday, that I was in a lot of pain because and also Smarty Pants is here. Hey there, let's go now because I launched this this tweet there. No crypto morning coffee, too much pain, and people really nice, getting better, recommending me what to do. What maybe not to use anymore. So some people, someone said flight to Tijuana would be good. But anyways, let's get started with our crypto news because we have some really big ones here. So US inflation cooled in June for the 12th straight month. That is good to hear, I guess. The US annual inflation slowed to 3% last month, according to the latest consumer price index released Wednesday by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. That's a sharp cool down from June of last year, when surging energy costs helped inflation spike to 9.1%, the fastest annual rate since November 1981, when Olivia Newton-John's physical sweated its way to the top of the charts. So I love how journalists always look up. Probably they sit there and they write the article like, okay, so I have the sentence now. Let's look up what exactly helped or happened at November 1981. What big event was 1981? And then I look this up and I find something weird that no one knows about anymore, like this. Yeah. So inflation, as measured by CPI, has now eased for 12 consecutive months and is at its lowest rate since March 21. Why is this so important? It's so important because if inflation is easing for 12 consecutive months and is at 3% month over month in comparison to the last year, that means that despite the other factors, the rate hike might not happen the next rate hike, because Jerome Powell said there might be another 1 or 2 0.25 rate hikes coming, even maybe back to back. But as it looks, so the target of the Fed, as we all remember, is to bring inflation down to 2%. Now, they have already paused the rate hikes. Inflation is down to 3% in that month, at least in comparison. And in 12 months since they started the rate hikes, a little bit after, inflation is coming down and is coming down. The question is now, will they go with just another rate hike and they just say, okay, if it's getting wild, we are going with easing and pivoting? But if it's going with this tendency here, they might not even do a rate hike. They might just sit there with the interest rate that they have right now and wait for inflation to come down to 2%. So, and that is why the market actually turned a little bit more positive in that sense on the next rate hike. We have Omicron here in the chat, PH. We just got a rate hike yesterday in Canada. Really sucks. Yeah. What happens is that the other countries are lagging behind. The Fed was the first one to hike the rates. The other ones, they did not. I mean, I don't know the interest rate of Canada right now, but I bet they are not at the rate of the US yet. So probably they've started later and now they're still doing it. So for example, European Union was only at 2% when the US already hit 5% interest rate. So that means if you have a higher inflation in the Eurozone and you are only at that rate, you still have ways to go with the rate hikes. So okay, so Omicron says it's 5%. It's 5% now after this rate hike, right? So they are still a little bit behind, yeah. But for example, the European Union, I remember when Jerome Powell already hit, I think, one of the last rate hikes at 5.x%. The European Union reached 3 and then 3.25%. So everyone knew that here we would still have to go because inflation, of the official inflation, we're not talking about what is under the official inflation, what you really experience, because if everything that you look at on your bill is like going up between 100 and 30%, you're really asking how your inflation rate is only at 8%, right? So for example, I was just telling that a couple of months ago to my girlfriend, and I was like, these eggs here that we always buy, they were like 1.99 euros and now they are 3.25. How is that? And then I was like, hey, and look at this butter here. The butter was like, I don't know, 2.40 and now it's 3.50 or so, right? So and then the electricity bill, it was, what was that, like 40 euros and then it's 80. So 100% increase. So yeah, but if you consider the official inflation, I think the UK had a 2-digit one at 10-11%. The Eurozone had more than 8%, so 1% above what the US said it was. So yeah, Omicron says, sorry, we are at 3.36 inflation rate. Bank of Canada hiked rates. So holy okay, that's weird actually, because that doesn't coincide with what I just said, right? You shouldn't be hiking to 5% if you only have a 3% inflation rate. That is absolutely weird. But anyways, let's talk about more crypto news. Vanguard's investments in Bitcoin mining firms Marathon and Riot approach 620 million. So that is very, very important news, because first of all, this strategy is known from one of the most important investors in the world. And secondly, Vanguard has been very, very conservative in their approach towards crypto. They also say it here in this article. Vanguard otherwise maintains a hesitant stance towards cryptocurrency. So for the ones that don't know, Marathon and Riot are the biggest Bitcoin mining firms that exist. So let's quickly see what they write here. So Vanguard Group has increased their investment in Bitcoin mining firms, so they were already in it, but they have made more commitment. So that means what that means is that Vanguard is saying the price of Bitcoin is going up, and it's still worth investing into these firms that are putting out heavy investments. We have seen that Riot just spent, I think, 350 million on new Bitcoin mining equipment. So they see that this is worth, even though that the halving of the rewards is coming up in April, right? So they are increasing their investments because they know that all the Bitcoin that is being mined is going up tremendously in value in the next month. So in contrast to all the bears that are still out there, they are saying that this is happening basically by doing this upgrade in their investment. So Vanguard now owns 17.5 million shares in Marathon. That number is shown in the line detailing the aggregate amount beneficially owned by each reporting person in a filing submitted to the US Securities Exchange Commission, the SEC. Another filing shows that Vanguard owns 17.9 million shares of Riot blockchain, Marathon's main competitor. Both filings were effective June 30th, but are dated July the 10th, so they were not known before it appears. Report from Fintel suggests that Vanguard now owns 10.3% of Marathon and 10.24% of Riot through its investments. Vanguard's latest Marathon investment also represents a nearly 60% increase from February, when it held 10.97 million shares. So that's a significant amount of a 60% increase in their stake. There is a significant amount in investing in basically the speculation or the knowledge that Bitcoin is going up tremendously in the future, and that Riot and Marathon are going to make some serious profits. So let's not go further in this, but let's talk about why this is also a known strategy. So we know that when gold price was on the verge of soaring a little bit more, like coming up during the last crises and so on, that Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway, they were also buying gold miner shares. So they were not buying gold in itself. They were buying the ones that are selling gold to the public because they know that this is more profit basically than, because they are experts in selling gold, right? Selling at the right time, selling at the right prices and so on. So they just bought the source, basically the mine. And this is what Vanguard is approaching here as well. They want the mine, they want the ones that are doing profits, that are experienced in the space, know what they do. Marathon and Riot have proven themselves over and over again. They did not die in this last, like some other Bitcoin miners that had to sell everything. They were withstanding even with the big energy costs that was posing a big problem to the market. So guys, if you enjoy this, if you like these news in the morning, then please smash up the like button as much and as hard as you can. I would be really happy about seeing those likes go up. Now a little bit more of, let's say, also if the more we go to the halving, the more bullish we get. But we also need to see that there are always black swans out there, or at least the typical risks. And I have this one. I think that was interesting to know about because I didn't find it anywhere else. The IMF approves a much-awaited 3 billion bailout for Pakistan. So Pakistan was on the verge to defaulting basically on their debts, and the IMF doesn't let that happen. So the International Monetary Fund has approved a 3 billion bailout for Pakistan, a move that is likely to help prevent South Asian country from defaulting on its debt repayments. In a statement on Wednesday, the IMF said its executive board gave the green light to the 9-month standby arrangement to support the authorities' economic stabilization program. So why is this important? Or I think it's important. First of all, it means that Pakistan in itself is in financial trouble, and the band-aid of 3 billion is probably not going to fix it. We know that usually band-aids and bailout only delay the problem. The second factor is that it's now becoming very clear, also for people in these countries, that there is going to be instability coming, which means that probably people in Pakistan might make a move towards Bitcoin once the next bull run is on and everyone is talking about it, right? So it's the same as Argentina. So yesterday, for example, Argentina made a new all-time high with the peso in Bitcoin. So Bitcoin made a new all-time high in Argentina because the currency is destroyed, right? So there are several countries right now and on the verge of collapse or in ongoing collapse, like Argentina, and people are fleeing into stuff like Bitcoin. So this could, in my opinion, give some extra power to the already overpower that we are expecting for Bitcoin. So if you consider that all of these ETFs and pension funds and so on after spot Bitcoin approval could come in, if you consider that the whole population of collapsing countries might put their last monies into convert into Bitcoin to get financial stability in a fast and easy way, this could supercharge the next bull run. It could. I'm not saying it will, but it could, and the signs are very much in that direction. Now, if we are seeing some red in the market, it could be because of this. Because overall, the news are bullish, right? But the US government is preparing to sell Silkroad Bitcoin again, or that's the question actually. Because let me see here, you cannot see all of it. Let's go like this. Because they have moved. Crypto wallets belonging to the Department of Justice on Wednesday moved 300 million in Bitcoin to new addresses in 2 transactions. So the feds hold Bitcoin that has been seized from criminals and sometimes move it around. In the past, they have done so because they intended to sell it, but not always this was the case. Sometimes they just moved it. But when they move it, there is a risk of selling. And if the market expects them selling these large stacks of Bitcoin, that could cause a tiny daily red candle, right? So it is likely this stash comes from its biggest seizure yet. In November 2021, cops took 3.36 billion in BTC after hacker James Zhong confessed to stealing digital assets from the illegal Silkroad marketplace. So the feds have since been selling the crypto bit by bit. In March, they sold 215 million worth of digital gold. At the time, they said they plan to dump another 1.1 billion. Obviously, that is, exactly. NFT Hero says 300 million is chump change. They're planning on dumping another 1.1 billion, but they are also not stupid. They are going to scatter this out a little bit. So Silkroad was an online black market which mostly sold illegal stuff before authorities shut it down in 2014. James Zhong pleaded guilty last year to wire fraud after the government alleged that he manipulated Silkroad transaction system and pocketed 50,000 Bitcoin. So obviously that is going to be absorbed. Dr. Knut is here, Jim from Heidelberg. How is your tooth? Actually, a little bit better. But also always better in the morning after sleeping a lot and painkillers, right? So the day before, it was at night. I didn't have painkillers, so that was really one of the most severe pains that I had in my entire life. That was crazy. And this is not before, this is after a treatment at the dentist, right? This is because there was a very deep filling in one of the tooth and my nerve just didn't like it. My nerve, it was like, oh, fuck that, right? What are you doing? And now it's irritated and I really hope I don't need any extra treatment. But anyways, let's look at this, because if we're already talking about bull run and that probably this whole Silkroad money is probably a nothing burger, then let's look at this, because this is very interesting. this is what we are getting in the rest of the year until the next halving. So you see here, we always have these 500 days that we are talking about here with the several charts that we get from the awesome community there on Twitter. And I try to get the chat here fixed. Okay, there we go. So we see here that in this window, pre-halving bull run, the black line is the halving. And here we have another black line of the halving that somehow, I hope you can see this. Somehow it's not visible here really, but here's the halving, right? So, and pre-halving, we are getting SEC decision on BlackRock ETF, Fidelity ETF, Bitwise, VanEck, Valkyrie, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 of them, plus all the good stuff that we are getting anyways. The big question is, so this box is drawn, like this now, so we could be on the upper end of this move and already be correcting, and we would never break out to our target here if that was really the case. But I think they only drew it to where we are right now. Before, so right coinciding with this halving from December to April, we are getting all of these decisions. So it's really right coming down to exactly this point here. Orchard Gaming, respect the grind, bringing the fire. I've never seen you talking in a donation, but thank you so much for the $5. Thank you for the support here on this grind. It's actually a grind, but I also enjoy it quite a bit. I just wish I would do it without tooth pain, but okay, we're taking what we get, right? Yeah, I really appreciate those donations that you're bringing constantly. So thank you very much for that, honestly. Yeah, so I hope, dude, Orchard Gaming, I hope, man, that you are getting rewarded so hard on this next bull run for everything, whatever you have invested in and what you have. I really hope you get, like, I don't know, 1000x back on every of these donations. And all of you, all of us, all of you, smash the like button for the respecting grind donation here. That would be awesome. And let's look at this one before we go to the charts. 24-hour Bitcoin therapy recap here from the Bitcoin therapist. Worth following this guy. June CPI at 3% for the last 12 months. Bitcoin is at all-time high versus Argentinian peso. I just talked about this. Block to launch Bitcoin mining devices. So that is actually, if you don't know what that is from Jack Dorsey. So Jack Dorsey is bringing out some kind of a Bitcoin miner. So Jack Dorsey's block to launch complete set of Bitcoin mining hardware and software is expected early next year. So that is interesting. And Robert Kiyosaki, Bitcoin is predicting that Bitcoin will go to 120,000 next year. That is coinciding also with our latest or with our last stream's predictions that we have looked at. Now let's do some market watch here quickly. We want to see how the market is looking. Actually, we're mixed. We're more red actually on this day. I don't know why Hex is pumping. I thought Hex was dead, but maybe it's not. On the weekly, we have more red. Algorand taking a hit, Wu taking a hit, ApeCoin taking a hit, Pepe is going down, but Solana is pumping. That is because there's some liquid staking stuff going on with Solana. Just so you know, Casper is always pumping. Pulse Chain is pumping. These are heavily chilled or shilled basically. But if we look at the month over month, we see that actually, so in the monthly, we are not too bad. There are only a couple of altcoins in the top 100 that are red, that are BitTorrent, ApeCoin, Toncoin. I didn't even know that Toncoin is in the top 100. There should be also, shouldn't there be VeChain somewhere here? Yeah, there we go. VeChain is up 20%, but the biggest one is obviously Bitcoin Cash. We have talked about the reasons, but I will repeat it. So why these are so big. Bitcoin Cash is so big because the EDX exchange launched by Charles Schwab and these other entities has actually listed only 4 cryptocurrencies, and one of them is Bitcoin Cash. That's the reason why Bitcoin Cash is up so much. It's not recommended to FOMO into Bitcoin Cash because I think at some point there will be offloading. FTT is the FTX token that had collapsed. It's up because they want to revive FTX. I cannot recommend either using FTX nor getting into that coin as well. So it's weird because I think that these are market manipulation pumps. Compound is, I think it's a DeFi play from back in the days. So the rest is reasonable. I think the rest of the project is reasonable pumps, but I think these are overblown. I don't think that's a good idea to go into these at all. Let's quickly look at top 200. So apparently there's bone pumping. Omi is up 8.2% on the last month. If we look at month over month, where is it? Okay, there it is. So let's get this a little bit. Let's get me out of the way for this. So here's Omi, 8.2% month over month, 1.5% on the day. But the monthly view, I think it's a Baby Doge is in the red. Oh my god. Just kidding. But Bone is, I think it's something related to the SHIB token. So it's also some meme stuff, I believe. I'm not quite sure. But here, a lot of coins are now popping up in the top 200 that are new or that are pumping from below the top 200. Market cap is increasing. And some are falling out. But overall, this could be short-lived when the Bitcoin pump is actually happening. Will it happen though? That's the big question. Let's look at the charts. So we are still at the verge here. We are still trying to break above this overhead resistance. We have pointed out this overhead resistance time and time again. On this channel, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 breakout attempts already. Some slicing through and some just hitting this overhead resistance. But the more you hit it, the weaker it gets. And there is no sign right now of a sharp reversal to the downside already, which would imply that this move is over. There's also no sign in the indicators that the move is over. So what I still continue to expect us to make a move here, break out, retest, and boom, go out. So I still expect, but as I said, this could take days to weeks still to also make indicators cool off more. We see RSI is looking good, stochastic RSI is looking good. Volume went away, maybe also in the awaiting the next news. There's still PPI month over month. That is uninteresting, and retail sales month over month. I don't think that prices are waiting this, but what could happen is that we get a little bit more red here, also liquidating, stacking longs that are stacking around here. And once everyone is liquidated and taken out by the whales of this market, then we are good to go. Why do I think that this is right around the corner? Look at the DXY. Look at the DXY, what happened. What happened just yesterday in the evening. With this inflation data coming out, the DXY fell off a cliff, just like we said, just like we predicted. And everyone who is here since the beginning of this channel, we were saying mountain ranges break, and when we are breaking, we will fall. So we were already falling. We were getting rejected at this trend line here that I drew in. Basically here, somewhere around here. So we have lost this line. We have a daily close below it. So this support is gone. We might be bearishly retesting this, but what that means is that we should, if everything is all right with the inverse correlation, we should be getting a pump out of Bitcoin in the next days, which would bring then Bitcoin dominance up, but it did not happen yet. Look at the chart. We are still here. So what I think is happening, just theorizing, right? And nothing is financial advice. But what I think is happening is that this is happening. A lot of traders see this. They start stacking their longs here. They start stacking their longs for the breakout. And the whales will rip this a little bit down, place a downward wick, and then boom, go up from there to liquidate everyone that is stacking longs. So that is what I think is going to happen. Yeah, so, and this is all would be explaining the red, but for all the inverse correlation, this dump should cause a pump in Bitcoin in the next days. It should. We will see and analyze on this channel if it happens. So Bitcoin dominance, uninteresting. Also, altcoin market more or less stabilized after this rip down. Actually, this here is when Gensler deemed some coins as security. So just keep that in mind. Now we're running a little bit out of time, but the good thing is that there's not too much to talk about with regards to the OMI price. We are still just in our range here, moving sideways, waiting for things to happen. So there's not much to comment for the OMI price, right? I mean, since I don't know, since almost 30 days, we're just trading sideways on Ecomi. So we are going to see how this plays out. Now, let's come to Veve Payout. Let's see what Veve posted here, and then we are going to go a little bit deeper into it. In preparation for the return of payout with our new provider, and we will talk about who that is in a second, we are now incrementally adding user based on specific criteria for an initial beta phase. With each successful phase, more users added until payout is fully re-enabled. Thank you for your ongoing patience. Update payout details are here. So then someone is asking for the EU too. Yes. Okay, so the EU is part of that Veve payout. Outside USA, yes, international payout will be enabled as part of this rollout. Then also was checking, my payout still says unavailable sadly. Veve says it's still in beta and is being rolled out to more collectors gradually. We will keep everyone updated. And Hello K asks, well done. Is this an only normal payout or crypto payout too? And they say no crypto payout is part of this rollout. So no crypto payout. How long do you expect until fully roll out to everyone? It depends on the success of beta testing. We'd give you a timeline, but hey, let's learn from the past. It's our top priority. So let's check the article. Payout, what we need to know. So payout requirements. There are a few details to be aware of. You may only use your personal bank account for the payout because there's your name written on it, right? You must have a minimum balance of 500 gems to qualify for payout. So that is good that they maintain this 500 gem one. We remember that a couple of months ago it was still necessary to hold 1000 gems. So that means that people that have less than this can still cash out. Let's go, says Mr. Planet Profit. Yeah, let's go. That's good news. There is a 100 gem minimum withdrawal. So you have to have this, but you can't just say, oh, I just keep the 500 and then I do $10 withdrawal, right? So you have to at least take out 100 gems. So the maximum withdrawal amount is currently 50,000 gems in any 7-day period. So the largest whales, they cannot sell and take out everything. They have to wait. Given the nature of the international banking system, we do not provide any guarantees as to the speed of the payout. However, we expect bank transfers to arrive within 5 to 7 business days. So if you are conducting payout in the beta or afterwards, it will take you roughly a week. The payout service provider will conduct their own compliance checks comparable to any other payment provider before approving a payout. So you also need to be verified. You need to have KYC. We're not going to read all of that. How to use the Veve Payout feature, enter payout amount, select payout type, yada yada, everyone knows that already. Add your bank account details. Is there anything more for us to know? Yeah, and Dr. Knut is saying it here, NFT prices might drop. I also tweeted this out yesterday. It will be very interesting if the bull run, this bull run, as some people claimed, which was organically, is really continuing, and prices can even hold stable when payout is being rolled out to more and more users, or if people are locking in profits right now, selling stuff, and prices are coming down. We have warned on this channel that this might happen, and then that we might be buying stuff at a premium. So I wouldn't be sad if the prices of secret rare comics are coming down once again, because I'm pretty sure that they will do very, very well in the next run. Not financial advice, obviously, but yeah. Facial liveness check. Okay, note, you may need to grant permission to use your camera, blah, blah, blah. Payout fees, that is the next interesting part, I guess. A 10% fee will be applied to any payout transaction, so that stays. This is noted on payout review. I hope that they will lower this one at one day. It must be confirmed by the user before a payout can be processed. In addition, the following fees may apply. For payout to US bank accounts, a $1 fee applies. For other countries, a $20 wire transfer fee applies. So not only are you paying 10% on the stuff that you're selling. So let's just get this together, right? So if you are selling your stuff to cash out, you have 8.5% seller fees. So you're not getting what you're listing it for. You get already a discount, right? Then you pay 10% on top of everything that's left over to cash out, and then you're paying a $20 fee. So you have to be whatever your amount is. You have to make a 20% profit at least to break even on Veve, and then plus $20 that you need to make, and then you're in the profit. So that is the reason why I think that they need to rebuild this before the bull run, these fees, because if let's say if you're a crypto millionaire and you know that if you pump 1 million into Veve, you need to make at least 1.2 million to just get your 1 million out again. So that is the big thing. Dr. Knut says, sorry, was driving. Professional advice concerning your tooth. It sounds like the nerve might have died last night. Get the vitality checked in a few days. Watch out for increasing pain with hot food, drinks, coffee. Okay, so you're a dentist? Because I still have pain. It's not that the pain is gone. I just took a painkiller to sleep better. But the tooth is super sensitive. Yeah, but what do you mean? Like, oh yeah. But what do you recommend? So, what happens if the nerve died? What happens if the nerve died? Is that because this is like I got the filling, and then and I was like 2 days ago at the dentist to look at it, and she was just looking at it and said, yeah, this can take a while until the pain goes away and so on. So if the nerve died, do you think I need to go back? But I still feel it, so it's still like it hurts. It still hurts, right? Food, drinks, coffee. Yeah, I'm trying to get this only on the healthy side. Anyways, eBay takes 13.25%, and it takes like half an hour work to list an item, package, ship. Goldin takes 20%. Veve takes 12.5% on many items. It takes 20 seconds of my time and a couple of button pushes. Veve seller fees are the biggest bargain in the collectible selling place. Yeah, maybe. So I think we all agree that royalties, and especially enforceable royalties, are necessary. I think that's fine. Um, the amount of cash out and I don't know what fees might just keep big players from coming into the market, because if you think about it, like is eBay is not, so it's not really comparable, because you just list stuff, you get it off, and then you do something with it outside of eBay. You don't have something that you can only use inside eBay, right? So that, I think there the comparison is a little bit bad. But other than that, you're right. There are other marketplaces, they also take fees. However, on Goldin, on eBay, on the other platforms, those are the sole seller fees, right? If you have your sell made, that's it, right? The sell is through, the rest of the money you will get, that's yours. It's coming to a bank account. It's not like, oh, you made 1,000 euros from eBay sales, now give me 100 and you can keep 900 if you want to cash out. So that's I think one big difference, right? So if they had a cash out fee on top of that, I think it would be looking a little bit more different. But anyways, it will just probably is just getting priced in, and on scarce collectibles, liquidity is looking different anyways, in my opinion. So yeah, Veve fee. So here's the example: payout amount 1,000, Veve fee $100, sending bank fee in the US $1, receiving bank fee $1. You receive 898, and in the non-US you will receive 860 out of that. But what they're not saying is that you already paid the fees before getting to the $1,000, right? So yeah, but nobody wants Veve seller fees are the biggest bargain, okay, but nobody wants that other stuff. This is Veve. This is stuff people will want. Yes, I 100% agree with you. I've like 500 collectibles, so I agree with you. This is stuff people will want. Don't compare the premium Veve experience to those minor league products. Dr. Knut said, wait and get the vitality check in a week or so. But if heat starts to hurt your tooth, then you need okay. There is also something called partial necrosis, then the pain will not go away. Okay, thanks for the medical advice here. Okay, so I will do that. I think everything is at the moment hurting my tooth. Also, if I bite on it, so that is happening. But yeah, we will see if it gets better from on its own or not. But thank you for that advice. So let's get back to Mark D's comment. Don't compare the premium Veve experience to those minor league products. Yeah, I don't. Here's the thing. I compare it more to. The problem with the closed system is that if you have more money outflow than inflow, you're going to lose liquidity in the market, right? So if you are always cycling, so for example, all the gems that are getting loaded into Veve and used on primary drops, they are going out of the system forever, 100%. They don't affect the market at all. But there is a new addition coming into the market that people spend their gems on. On every secondary transaction, you have 2.5% for Veve and 6.6% for the licensor, or sometimes only 2.5% for some things. But this is always from every amount 2.5 to 8.5, in most cases 8.5%, that is going out of the system. So you need more than that always to come into the system to have prices, even to have a chance that prices go up. In general, because of this liquidity drain from the market. So there is one thing to it, and I thought about this a lot. If you consider specifically scarce items, the liquidity concentration on these items is higher than others. So which is why I go with this strategy of secret rare comics, right? Yeah. So those other NFT projects were nothing but a grift. They should be ashamed for taking people's money as they did. They at least owe it to the buyers. They grifted to give 0% seller fees. Yeah, I think so. Here's the thing: these 0%, these 0% projects, they obviously have no chance because they cannot continue building because they have no income. So royalties are actually a guarantee, not a guarantee, but royalties are a reason why projects are alive, right? So I think we agree on that. Closed system has upside too, need growth to sustain though. Yeah, but obviously the closed system has some upsides right now. But I would rather see an extension of the closed system to other marketplaces, just so that there is more visibility for those collectibles and more accessibility. But I think that will come within the IMX ecosystem. I think they're just not ready yet. Yeah, so obviously other look at Azuki. I think it is Azuki or so, and other crypto projects like CryptoZoo. They just took people's money, and there's never anything coming from it. So I think we are really blessed with the way that Veve is at least not dying. So if we can be ever grateful for that, but yeah, okay. So thank you, Dr. Knut, for the medical advice. Though I read it. Thank you for giving me your professional opinion, so to say. That is so, guys. If you ever need dentist advice in this chat, Dr. Knut is here to help you. Just joking. You don't have to. But yeah. So yeah, that's the payout fee here. So let's talk about who is the payout provider. Because this guy here, Lens, he posted this yesterday. To anyone wondering who the new provider is, I received this email when I cashed out. The new provider is Neum. So we see here, thank you for registering your bank details with us. A payment method has successfully been added to your Veve account. Please note that that payout service is provided by Neum Pte. Limited. So according to what I saw, it's probably those guys because it looks the same. These are so this is a multinational company in the sense that they are operating in many countries. They are working in the travel industry also. They are around since 2014. Headcount more than 1,000 people. They have a new office just right now in Singapore, which is probably not a coincidence that they have been partnering with Veve right now for providing the payout. And there are a lot of investors in them. They have a transparent site for the staff. So we have here this Prajit, who is the founder or co-founder and CEO. We also have, if we go to the main site, a lot of the so the companies that are building on Neum, so payout providers, so e-travel group, for example, and so on. So there, it looks very solid on the first glance. 25 billion of annual transactions is also not super low, so that looks pretty good. 100%, 100 plus real-time markets, 100 plus supported currencies, 75 million cards issued worldwide. So yeah, so that is happening. So we have here the payout, pay and issuing of cards. We do not really see a lot of crypto things here, so I don't know if they can provide crypto pay in, pay out. That is Mark says, I just hate listening to complaints of 12.5 to 18.5 seller fees, Veve has made it so easy to sell. The ease of selling is well worth that fee. It is a premium experience Veve is providing. Yeah, I think you could argue it from that point, and I don't disagree fully with you. The only thing is that it's still something where people will look at and say, meh, 20% guarantee on whatever I have. It's not about, you're running out with a lot of profit and you have to pay 10%. Who cares? The problem is if you take your money out and you're already only break even or at a loss, right? So it depends. But obviously we cannot adapt to everyone's gains and losses and put out something unfair. It's more about would you, if you want to play the markets, would you put your money into Veve? That's the question. So you would have to compare it with a Binance experience and say, hey, everything you trade on Binance has this high fees, and then another 10% cash out fee on Binance. So that is what I'm comparing it to, right? I'm not comparing it to eBay. I'm comparing it to Binance, for example, where you can trade cryptocurrencies. But you are right. That is a very valid point. You can say it's a premium experience. I'm willing to pay that. Here's the thing: competition. If there's one day valid competition to Veve, which in my opinion these projects that are being hyped now are not, then I believe that these fees will go down. They will go lower. Some of these fees, I think. And I think it's good that they have put the cash out limit to 500. Maybe they will lower that also in the future, but because obviously small accounts and so on that only have like 100 gems in would not be able to cash out. But yeah, that is Neum here. So that is probably the provider of the payout. We have seen what is necessary for the payout. Now let's look quickly at Veve here, because they also have a new drop announcement. So here they are going to drop on Sunday the Incredibles Super Character Series 1, a family of supers whose unique powers are stronger when they work as a team. So we see that Veve is continuing to drop the biggest brands, continuing to drop Disney, Pixar, and so on. The Incredibles Super Character Series 1 drops in blind box waitlist format. So it's going to be a blind box, going to be a waitlist. I have seen some people complain about the waitlist drop, that it's boring, but I think that's mostly people that hit every time on the button drop and now they are not hitting it as much anymore. I think waitlist is fine as long as it's equally distributed, which I believe it is. So, by the way, that looks pretty good. That looks good. This vault looks awesome. 99% of the stuff Binance is selling is a grift. It's trash. That's all going to zero anyway. Okay. But no matter what, you can make money with very low fees. That's what I'm saying. There's also the poster series here of Alice in Wonderland on Friday. So I don't know if you've realized, but Veve increased their drop frequency, right? There was a time where there was only 2 Marvel comics per week and not much, and only every second or third week there was like a bigger drop and people were hyped for that. Now there is like back-to-back comics. There is this poster drop here. There's the craftable door and so on. There is this like 2 drops on the weekend and so on. So Veve has been stepping up their game quite significantly. So very good to see that. Anyways, guys, I think for today that's it. And Mark D, I really appreciate your input here with what you are saying. I do not fully disagree, but I also don't fully agree. But I think you're right. the premium things that they matter and they are worth their prices. In that sense, you could argue that I disagree a little bit of that 99% of the stuff Binance is selling is a grift. I mean, top 200 projects certainly have some, not all of them, but some right to be there. Yeah, and we will see. Maybe Omi one day will be listed on Binance. But with that said, guys, I will end this here today. I thank you so much. Thank you, Knut, for the the medical advice. And yeah, guys, so wherever you are on the world, enjoy your coffees. Have yourselves a great morning, evening, day, night, or afternoon. And I see you in tomorrow's live stream.